Thank you. If everyone could get seated, we'll go ahead and get started. Thursday, March 5th, 2020, the committee as a whole meeting for business affairs and administrative. Ms. Campbell, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Green.
Here.
Mrs. Hines. Here. Mr. Derman. Here. Mr. Loop. Here. Mr. Harrell. Here. Mr. Nation. Here. Mrs. Richardson. Mr. Winkler. Here. Mrs. Drucker. Here. Mr. Betancourt.
Here.
Mrs. Lamy. Here. Mr. Hersey. Mr. Breaux. Here. Mr. Kuzan. Here. Mrs. Page. Here.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. We'll dispense with the invocation and pledge since we did that in the previous meeting. Would any board members like to recognize any visitors? Seeing none, anybody sign up for public comments, 5 minutes or 3? I don't see any, so great. Let's move on to the approval of the minutes for the committee as a whole meeting held on February 6, 2020. Mr. Derman?
Second.
Ms. Drucker? Seconds. Any questions from the board on those minutes? Comments from the public? Seeing none, let's vote. Okay, that motion carries 11 yeas, 1 nay, and 1 abstention. Okay.
I pressed the wrong thing. It should be fixed.
You were just adamantly opposed to those minutes, huh? So that motion carries actually 12 yeas and 1 abstention. Moving on to the administrative report, Mr. Jabby, do you have the monthly maintenance and custodial report?
Yes, sir. Mr. Green, before I get into the reports, if I could, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce to the board our new internal auditor. He's been on board with us now a couple of weeks, and he's hit the ground running. He's a character to work with, but he's very intense. We've already had a number of meetings, and he's working with all the different departments at this time. So I'd like to introduce you to Mr. James Caprera.
Great, James.
I told him he couldn't speak. He could just wave. Mr. Foltz, you want to add anything?
No.
You good? Okay.
I'll just say, for the board, we're excited to have James on, and I know we're excited for the work he's going to do and getting you started. So welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Green. So monthly maintenance and custodial report was sent to you. Mr. Gottschall and his staff is here if you have any questions.
Any questions? Moving on to the risk management report.
And Mr. Gaspard is here. If you have any questions, he's here to answer those.
Seeing none, the transportation report.
Mr. Bodie is also here with his staff if you have any questions.
Looks like we're all good. Thank you, Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you.
Moving next to the construction report, Ms. Tipton, I'll ask that you lead us through that, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Our first item is consideration of bids for 6th Ward Elementary School, 100-wing roofing modular, I'm sorry, that's a typo, STPSB project number R0079. We did take these bids on February the 14th. We received quite a few bids. That is attached to board docs. We are recommending acceptance of the low base bid submitted by Bell Roofing Company in the amount of $184,300 for the 100-wing roofing at 6th Ward Elementary STPSB project number R0079.
Okay. Do I have a motion there? Mr. Winkler, second by Mr. Harrell. Any questions from the board? Any from the public? Seeing none, let's vote. That motion does carry 13 yeas, no nays, no abstentions. The next item on that report, Ms. Tipton.
Yes, sir. This is consideration of bids for Slidell Junior High School re-roofing Phase 2, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number R0081. We took those bids on February the 18th, and that memo and bid tabulation sheet are on board docs. The apparent low bid that was received that day was determined to be non-responsive for failing to include proper written evidence of signature authority as required. So we are recommending acceptance of the low base bid submitted by Roof Technologies Incorporated in the amount of $246,990 for Sodell Junior High Roofing, Phase 2, St. Tammany Parish School Board Project R0081.
Mr. Bro makes that motion with Mr. Kuzan seconding. Any comments from the board? Mr. Derman?
Could you tell us exactly the difference in the two bids, the one that was non-responsive versus the next bid?
Yes, sir. It is shown on the bid tabulation. There is about a $2,000 difference.
So it wasn't very much difference in the two
Yes.
bids? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. Any other comments from the board?
And just, Mr. Green, for board members, we had legal look at it and certainly review it, and this was the only option that we had available to us because of that omission.
Yes, sir.
No others? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, let's vote. Who's out there? Good.
13 yeas.
That motion carries 13 yeas, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Ms. Tipton, item C.
Yes, sir, thank you. Consideration of bids for Folsom Junior High School roofing at the gymnasium annex and a portion of classroom building B, as well as repairs at Breezeway, St. Tammany Parish School Board Project number R0068. We received those bids on March 3rd this week. We did have an apparent low bidder that submitted documentation indicating a mistake in their bid, and this bid was reviewed again by School Board Council, and it was properly withdrawn in accordance with Louisiana law. So we are recommending acceptance of the low base bid submitted by Fishers Incorporated in the amount of $157,000 for the roofing at the gymnasium annex and portion of classroom building B. And that is Folsom Junior High School, St. Tammany Parish School Board Project R0068.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Loop, second by Mr. Derman. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Let's vote then. Thank you. That motion carries 13 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions. Item D.
Yes, sir. That is consideration of bids for Mandeville High School Site Improvements Phase 3, St. Tammany Parish School Board Project number P0245. Those bids were also received this week on March 3rd, and we're recommending acceptance of the low base bid plus alternate number 1 submitted by CDX Construction LLC in the amount of $236,000 for the site improvements Phase 3 at Mandeville High School, Project P0245.
Thank you. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Nation? Any questions from the board? Mr. Nation?
Just a quick question for Ms. Tipton. What was the alternate?
This project includes some work replacing hardware in the original main school, and the alternate number 1 was doors other than classroom-related doors. So this is like mechanical, electrical, custodial, and back of house at the kitchen and some other areas like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nation.
And even with the alternate, we still were on the budget
Yeah.
on the
Yes, sir.
project, so.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board on this project? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Seeing none, let's vote. Thank you. That motion carries 13 yeas, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Item E.
Yes, sir. This is consideration of bids for Slidell High School track resurfacing, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number P0240. We also opened those bids this week on March 3rd. The apparent low bid was non-responsive after a review by School Board Council for failing to include the proper written evidence of signature authority. So we are recommending acceptance of the low base bid submitted by T3 Global Projects in the amount of $387,000 for the track resurfacing to Slidell High School, Project 240.
Thank you. Mr. Bro makes that motion with Ms. Page seconding. Do we have any comments from the board?
Yes, sir. Excuse me. I noticed that there were no other bids other than the one that was rejected. Is this common, or?
Well, you can see that a few other companies on the bid tab did look at the job, but there were just two that showed up for the pre-bid and showed a lot of interest in the
Since we
job.
do resurfacing tracks and they're all basically the same size, is this pretty much within a range that we would expect?
Yes, sir. It's been a couple of years since we've done a track resurfacing, but this is within the range of what we would expect. And it was certainly within the engineer's estimate and our budget.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I've got one question. You've mentioned lacking signature authority. Could you explain that to us?
Yes, sir. The Louisiana Public Works bid law requires that a authority for signature, be it a corporate resolution or related to the business type, include who is authorized to sign bids as a formal document, and that is a requirement of Louisiana law. It's also part of the Public Works bid form that is put out by the state and is shown on that form to be a requirement to be included.
And this was reviewed by council as well and had no other options available to us.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Seeing none there, let's vote. Okay, that motion carries 13 yeas, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. And lastly, for Ms. Tipton, your monthly construction report.
Yes, sir, thank you. At Madisonville Elementary, all the foundation and building structural framing is complete. The first half of the second floor slab has been poured, and the contractor is prepping to pour the second half. The gym is mostly closed in, and the contractor is running ductwork and other conduit in that area. The HVAC units are scheduled to be set this month as well. At Mandeville High, the third floor slab has been poured, and the contractor is forming and pouring the columns on that floor, and they anticipate pouring the roof slab before the end of the month. The locker room addition is progressing with mechanical and electrical rough-in above ceilings, and the contractor actually took over the existing coach's office during the Mardi Gras break to begin planning for the transition between the old and the new coming up soon. At Slidell High, the contractor is on site addressing punch list items. The Abney Early Childhood Center project has been re-advertised for bids. And we're, as you see, receiving quotes and bids for summer work, and we'll start having kickoff meetings for those projects, so they're ready to go when the school year ends.
Thank you, Ms. Tipton. I enjoyed watching these projects go up, and I appreciate the expediency, really, that these are. I mean, from demolition now to working on the third floors in these buildings. It's exciting to see our schools grow like this. So thank you for your diligence there, and thank you for your report,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Prevost. The monthly financial report.
The monthly financial report was sent to you electronically, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions? And the monthly purchasing report.
Ms. Stevens is here to answer any questions on that report.
everybody. Good. Thank you, Ms. Prevost. Mr. Nation, do you have any announcements for us?
Thank you, Mr. Green. We do have two tonight. The March board meeting is Thursday, March 12th. There is a reception beginning at 6 p.m. to honor the 2019-2020 Students of the Year, Support Employees of the Year, and our Substitute of the Year. And as always, please remember to check board docs for handouts and any other pertinent information. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And with that, that concludes our committee as a whole meeting for Business Affairs and Administration, and I adjourn.